My dear friend, let's sit together in this quiet, tender moment where you're feeling the weight of others expecting you to be strong forever. Those times when people lean on you as their rock, their problem solver, their unshakable pillar, without seeing the cracks in your own heart. I want to speak to those moments when you're the one everyone turns to in a crisis, the one who holds it together for family, friends, or colleagues, yet you're aching inside, longing for someone to see your vulnerability. Perhaps you're exhausted, feeling trapped in this role, or wondering if you're allowed to break down. It's a heavy, isolating place, isn't it? You might fear disappointing others, doubt your right to rest, or worry that showing weakness will let everyone down. But let me assure you right now, people expect you to be strong forever, not because you're unbreakable, but because God is using this season to teach you your limits, deepen your reliance on Him, and guide you to a destiny that shines for His glory. He sees your hidden struggles, affirms your infinite worth, and is crafting a path where your strength is balanced with His grace. Drawing on Dr. Myles Munroe's wisdom about purpose and stewardship, I'll unpack why you're carrying this expectation and show you how to rise with vibrant faith, trusting God's plan and thriving in the destiny He's shaping, not defined by others' demands or the exhaustion you feel. Picture this. You're not alone in being seen as the forever strong one. Think of Moses, who led Israel through the wilderness, expected to be their unwavering guide. Yet he cried out to God in his weariness, and God provided help. Or consider Esther, who bore the weight of saving her people, yet leaned on God's strength to fulfill her purpose. Even Jesus, the ultimate cornerstone, wept in Gethsemane, showing his humanity while trusting God's plan. Dr. Myles Munroe taught that your worth isn't tied to others' expectations of your strength. It's rooted in the purpose God sustains through your reliance on Him. When people expect you to be strong forever, it's not a verdict on your capacity, but God's invitation to find rest in Him, aligning you with the path where your heart is free. This role isn't your prison, it's God's doorway to your renewal. Let's explore why people expect you to be strong forever and what God is doing in this season. First, your strength reflects God's grace. Your ability to carry others' burdens mirrors His compassion. As Galatians 6:2 says, carry each other's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ. Your role is His reflection, but it's not meant to crush you. Second, this expectation reveals your limits. The pressure to be unbreakable teaches you to lean on God's strength, building humility and trust for your purpose. That exhaustion is His lesson. Finally, this season prepares you for balanced purpose. By navigating others' demands, you learn to set boundaries and prioritize God's call, aligning with relationships and opportunities that honor your heart. Dr. Munroe said your purpose is like a vessel. It carries only what God designs. That's you right now, being refined in God's hands. I know this season stirs raw emotions. Being expected to be strong forever can make you feel invisible, like your own pain doesn't matter, or like you're trapped in a role you didn't choose. You might think, why can't I just break down? Or will I ever be seen for me? Perhaps you're tempted to push through silently, hide your struggles, or believe you're failing if you show weakness. I felt that crushing pressure of being the strong one, my friend, and it's lonely. But let me speak to your soul. You're not a machine, you're human. You're not called to measure your worth by others' reliance or to let exhaustion define your heart. You are a child of God, crafted with a spirit that can rest, a purpose that shines through vulnerability. Matthew 11:28 says, come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. That's you, resting in God. This expectation is God inviting you to shine where your strength meets His grace. Let me share a story to make this vivid. I once knew a woman who was the go-to person for her family's crises, always expected to stay strong. Worn out, she prayed for relief and began sharing her struggles with a trusted friend. Her vulnerability deepened her relationships, and she found time to pursue her calling in teaching, inspiring others with her authenticity. The expectation wasn't her cage, it was God's refining, teaching her to rest in Him and shaping her purpose. She thrived, radiant in faith, her heart honored. That pressure became her testimony, echoing Dr. Munroe's words, your worth is in who God made you, not the strength others demand. That's the power I want you to embrace today. People expect you to be strong forever because your strength reflects God's grace. This expectation reveals your limits, and this season prepares you for balanced purpose. This exhaustion isn't your identity. It's a sign that God is working, guiding you to rest in Him. Dr. Munroe taught that your purpose is God's priority, not others' demands. When you trust His plan and embrace your limits, you become a beacon, ready for the places where your heart is valued. The weight of this role might test you, but you'll be too busy thriving in God's purpose, your life a testament to His rest. If you're weary, doubting your worth in this season of endless strength, hear this: release that burden. You're not defined by others' expectations or the exhaustion of being strong. You're defined by the God who loves you, who sees you, who invites you to rest. Don't let thoughts like, I can't show weakness or I'm failing them, dim your light. You are enough just as you are. God's got a destiny where your purpose will flourish, but you must trust His rest to step into it. Psalm 62:1 says, truly, my soul finds rest in God. My salvation comes from Him. That's God's promise. He restores you. Trust that He's working even now. So how do you rise? First, root yourself in God's rest. Stop measuring your worth by others' expectations and start resting in His provision. Spend time in His word, letting verses like Isaiah 40:29 fill you. He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Tell yourself daily, God sustains me. My purpose is His. I'm destined to shine. When you're anchored in His rest, the pressure fades and you shine with a confidence that comes from knowing you're His. Next, surrender the expectation to God. You're not meant to carry this role alone. His grace redeems your labor. Take your exhaustion to Him in prayer. Say, Lord, they expect me to be strong forever. Restore me and guide my purpose. Write down the demands you've carried, then release them, trusting that God's plan outweighs others' reliance. Dr. Munroe taught that you're called to steward your purpose, not their expectations. Pray for wisdom to set boundaries and seek out one or two who see your heart, aligning with God's timing. When you surrender the expectation, you reclaim your peace, and that freedom lets you thrive as God's vessel. Then embrace your God-given purpose. Being strong forever might feel like a chain, but your heart was never meant to be bound by others' demands. It's meant for God's glory. Celebrate what makes you you, your compassion, your resilience, your faith. Pour your energy into what aligns with your purpose. Serve with balance. Shine with authenticity. Take steps in faith, even through the weariness. Dr. Munroe said, your purpose is where your rest meets God's call. When you lean into God's plan, you rise above the pressure and the weight of expectation fades into the brilliance of your destiny. To those feeling trapped, thinking this role defines your worth, or afraid to show weakness, worried you'll fail others, I get it. The pressure to stay strong feels like a sentence, and the fear of letting go is heavy. But you can't live God's purpose by carrying every burden or believing you're only valuable when unbreakable. Shining, serving, chasing your dreams, it takes a heart that trusts, and it's safe in God's hands. Don't let their expectations define you. Trust that God is guiding you, that He's crafting your purpose, that your destiny is secure. 2 Corinthians 12:9 says, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. That's you, perfect in God's grace. Your purpose awaits when you trust His rest. Let me share another story. I knew a man who was always the family's anchor, expected to solve every problem. Drained, he prayed and began sharing his limits with his loved ones. His honesty strengthened their bond, and he pursued his passion for mentorship, guiding others with vulnerability. The expectation wasn't his end, it was God's refining, teaching him to rest and shaping his purpose. He thrived, radiant in faith, his heart valued. That journey proved Dr. Munroe's truth. Your worth is in who God made you, not the strength others demand. So, what's this pressure holding you back from? What dream are you pausing because you're always strong? What purpose are you hesitating to chase because their expectations weigh you down? My friend, you don't need to be unbreakable to shine. You need God's grace. You need your faith, your courage, your trust in the one who's sustaining you. The exhaustion may test you, but it can't stop you unless you let it. Rise, release the burden, and step into the destiny God's crafting. The world needs your light, and no expectation can dim what God's designed. Now let's talk about rising so vibrantly that their expectations become a whisper in your story. Not to dismiss the labor, but to honor God's purpose in you. Shine for His glory, not their demands. When people expect you to be strong forever, it's tempting to focus on the pressure, but that's a trap. Instead, use your heart to serve God's kingdom. Share your gifts boldly, pursue your calling, even through the weariness. When you shine for God, your light grows, radiating brighter through the rest. Dr. Munroe said, your purpose is God's priority, not their expectations. Let that drive you. Rise with confidence, knowing God's rest is your anchor. The exhaustion of being strong might stir doubt, but trust that your worth is enough, that His plan is perfect, that your destiny is secure. Step out boldly, even in the vulnerability. When you carry yourself with the assurance that God sustains you, you glow, drawing the right people and moments to you. That confidence isn't just for you. It's a beacon for others feeling pressured, showing them they can rise through God's grace. Rise with purpose. Don't let their expectations derail you. Wake up each day asking, God, how can I shine for you today? Where do you want my light? Purpose keeps you steady even when the pressure lingers. When you focus on what God's called you to do, you build a life that's radiant, rising above the exhaustion. Their demands might weigh, but you'll be too busy glorifying God to stay drained, your life shouting His goodness. To rise above this season, cultivate what I call God confidence. The deep knowing that your worth comes from the one who sustains you, not the strength others expect. Spend time with Him. Let His word fill you. Psalm 46:1 says, God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. That's you, strengthened by God. When you're rooted in that, no expectation can sway you. Your light grows, ready for God's divine restoration. Practice gratitude too. It's easy to focus on the pressure, but gratitude shifts your eyes to God's work. Thank Him for sustaining you, for guiding your purpose, for the freedom rest brings. Thank Him for the lessons, the strength, the glimpses of peace. Try this. Each day, write down one way God's restoring you. Maybe it's a moment of vulnerability, a supportive friend, or a step toward your calling. Gratitude doesn't erase the exhaustion, but it lifts you above it, turning the pressure into a bridge to your destiny. Let me share one more story. I knew a woman who was the pillar for her community, always expected to stay strong. Worn out, she prayed and shared her struggles with a mentor. Her openness inspired others, and she embraced her calling as a writer, sharing stories of faith. The expectation wasn't her end. It was God's refining, shaping a purpose that shone brightly. She thrived, radiant in faith, her heart cherished. That journey proved Dr. Munroe's words, your worth is in who God made you to be. Guard God's purpose in you, my friend. The pressure to be strong can feel like a chain, but every moment is God working. He's restoring your heart, setting the stage for your purpose. Trust that He's not done. Your job is to keep shining, keep resting wisely, keep being you with faith that God provides, and celebrate your light. Don't let their expectations dim it. Your compassion, your gifts, your heart, they're all part of the treasure God gave you. Share it boldly, knowing it's enough. You are not defined by the expectation to be strong forever or the exhaustion of this season. You are defined by the God who loves you, who sees you, who crafted you for a purpose that's yours alone. You are radiant, irreplaceable, a vessel of divine destiny. The pressure is a lesson, a sign, a nudge to shine with rest. Root yourself in God's love. Release the burden. Embrace your purpose. Shine for His glory with confidence and faith. Lean into His confidence. Stay grateful. Trust His grace. Celebrate who you are. Do this and you'll live a life so vibrant that their expectations fade into the brilliance of your purpose, glorifying God and inspiring others to trust Him too.